Welcome back to our cooking series, where we're on a mission to prepare a meal from every country using easily obtainable ingredients and in an introductory level of experience. Today we're taking you on a culinary journey to Honduras, where we'll be making a few simple and delicious dishes that you can easily recreate at home. First up is the Honduran Chimol, also known as Pico de Gallo. Then we'll be assembling some mouth-watering bean tostadas, and for the grand finale, we're attempting to make homemade Baleadas. So if you're ready to join us on this flavorful adventure, let's get started. Welcome back for our 5th episode in our series of cooking a meal from every country using easily obtainable ingredients while having an introductory level of experience to cooking. If we can make it, so can you. This week we're preparing a few simple dishes from Honduras that will all come together to make a wonderful meal, starting with some Honduran Chimol or Pico de Gallo. This is a very easy recipe that allows for substitution. The first thing we're wanting to do is cut up half of a white onion. In this case, I used a red onion and it worked just as fine. We're going to put that through the slapping chop machine to give it a fine dice. We're also doing a fine dice on a bell pepper through the same machine. We're going to slice off the top, then the lobes, and then give it a slap. Finally, we're chopping the tomato and removing the seeds so that the final product isn't overwhelmed with moisture. Next, we want to crush some fresh coriander and add it. And we're going to add about a quarter cup according to the recipe, but I have found that to be way too much, so I'd suggest more around a teaspoon. Finally, we want to top it off with the juice of 1 lime, and that's it. The pico is done. Personally, I prefer a spicier pico with some jalapenos or habaneros, but to stick to authenticity, this is what we did. Next, we're going to prepare some bean tostadas, which is surprisingly easy and mostly just assembly work. We want to warm up some store-bought tostada shells in the oven at 350 degrees for about 5 minutes. While the oven is preheating, it's a perfect time to heat a can of red refried beans in a small pot over low heat. With the shells now ready, we're going to spread a layer of the refried beans on top of them, followed by a bit of Honduran or Mexican crema, which is basically just sour cream. Next, we're going to add some crumbled cotija cheese on top before finally sprinkling our hot sauce of choice. And these tostadas tasted great and are an easy to assemble snack that could be great at any gathering. To up our challenge though, we wanted to tackle the similar recipe, Baleadas, which is basically the same filling but with our pico and even some chopped avocado, and the main difference, a soft shell tortilla that we're going to attempt to do homemade. To do this, we're going to add into a bowl 4 cups of flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Next, we're going to melt a quarter cup of butter, and with it warm half a cup of whipped coconut milk, before then slowly pouring this mixture in the bowl with our dry ingredients while stirring continuously. We're going to mix and then knead this until a soft dough forms. I ended up switching this over to a stand mixer with the kneading attachment, and I found I had to add some more coconut milk before it became a nice, easy to handle ball of dough. With this ball, we're going to divide it into smaller golf ball sized portions and then let them rest for about 30 minutes. At the end of these 30 minutes, we're going to flatten each ball out, at first by hand and then further with a rolling pin, or if you're like me, an improvised rolling pin made out of a hot sauce bottle. Then we're going to heat this into a medium-high skillet for 2 minutes on the first side, and then another minute on the other side, but that's according to the recipe. I personally found with less time on the heat, they were able to be easier manipulated, which was better for later on. Once the tortillas are done, they're ready to be prepared similar to the tostadas. A layer of beans, cream, cheese, and then we're adding some of that pico, a slice of avocado, and then topping with some hot sauce, and then it's ready to fold over and enjoy. I was pleasantly surprised with how well the homemade tortillas turned out, especially with how much it felt like it was winging it in this recipe. They were soft and flavorful and perfectly complemented the ingredients. I am, however, way too lazy to do this every time, so the homemade tortillas are unlikely to make a common reappearance in my personal cooking. The recipe, however, for the Baleadas and tostadas with store-bought ingredients are likely to make a return. We hope you enjoyed watching us cook these wonderful and simple meals from Honduras. We've been having a wonderful time making these videos, and we appreciate all the support we've received. As of right now, we have over 650 views and 20 subscribers, which is absolutely unbelievable to us. Once again, if you decide to cook this meal or want to reach out for any other reason, feel free to contact us at our email grandorfs@gmail.com. We hope you'll join us next week when we take our culinary visit to Japan.